Wait.
Video.
Okay. Okay. So welcome everybody. I think we will start in a minute or so.
Say hello.
Hi, Girish.
Hi Prakash. Hello, how are you? Great. Welcome. Okay, so let's start. We have good Gaurav, we have about 45 people and joining in. So welcome everybody, and next 45 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, am I audible okay, or is there any echo or something?
Perfect.
Oh, perfect.
One second. Okay, one second. I'll just check. One second. Let me just also check the other phone. Yeah. One second.
Hi, this is Parul.
Girish, you have gone off.
Yeah, I'm just trying to sort out the echo thing. Just give me 30 seconds to sort the echo out. Okay, just a minute.
Audible to you? Are we audible to you?
Yes, I can hear you guys. Let me just set my. I am ready now.
We attended your one-day seminar in 2017.
Oh, okay, yeah. 2017. Who's this?
If you remember, it was my wife's birthday. I had gifted that seminar as a day of.
Ah, yes. I remember. Yes. Absolutely.
How are you?
So welcome everybody. Let us start, and thank you all for taking time off today and coming for this session. Actually, this is a 4-part series actually. So it has become stress-free, and it's going to be covered in 4 parts of 1 hour each. So it's because it's the topic which I found it's difficult to cover in just 1 hour or 45 minutes with question answers. But there's a lot to learn about it. So thank you for taking time off from your busy schedule, and especially salute to all the doctors who are probably the most stressful job currently, fighting an unknown, unseen enemy, and that is very, very difficult and no doubt stressful. And all of us have been through our own various challenges. Yes, 1 second. There's somebody who's saying, yeah, they all admit all. There's nobody in waiting list.
Would you recommend that we all mute our sort of audio video both?
Yeah, especially the audio, please, if you can mute, please. Audio definitely. There is somebody saying they're in the waiting list, but I don't see anyone in the waiting list. So, right. Okay. So the thing is, we will next 45 minutes at least. I'll give you a brief overview about things about stress and how to handle stress, what causes stress, etc. Sometimes it seems very, very simplistic, but in reality, it could be very, very complex. But each one has its own experiences. Before we go into it, there is going to be a small poll which I will run. But okay, we'll just wait 2 minutes before we're running the poll. And yeah, okay. So let's start the poll with whoever is here right now. The poll, I think, it will come up with on your screens. Okay. Okay, so there are basically just 3 questions. I request you all to answer those questions. Yeah, so I'm sure, are you able to see this, the 4 questions on your screen?
Yeah.
Yes, so just you can answer. So first one is, how many of you would agree that modern life is stressful? And there are various answers. First is yes, that M is a
Participant.
yes. The second is no, do not agree. Third is do not know. The second question is that stress can have a negative impact on sleep, productivity, relationships, your health, etc. And the third question is that if stress were less, happiness would be more. Okay, you think? getting the answers. So another 30 seconds, we'll run it.
Can't read.
Are you on mobile, Kulbirji? So
I'm
maybe
mobile,
on
but my
on the
vision is
mobile.
deteriorated very
Okay, okay.
fast. And
No
today
issues.
I
No
can't
issues.
read the screen at all.
Oh, okay, okay. No issues, no issues, no issues. Okay,
So I'll be silent
no
participant.
problem, sir. Okay, another 15 seconds. I'll keep it on and then we will close it. There's still some responses coming in, so another 5 seconds.
Girish sir, have you received my answer? Because even I have login from mobile.
No, that was not the thing. The mobile was because screen is small, so Kulvirji may have had a trouble seeing it. That's it. Not
Okay.
any other issue. Okay, so I'm
Good
now
to
closing.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'll put it on mute.
Yeah, okay.
The mobile, tell them to keep it vertical. When they keep the phone vertical, they can see the choice for next.
Okay, so that is one input. You can keep the mobile vertical and see. All right, so we have a fair amount. I think we have got more than 65 responses out of 79 who are in the room. I will stop the poll, so it is good enough to get us a feel. Okay, let me see if I can share the results straight away. Okay, so I'm sharing the results that we have got. So question one was, how many of you agree that modern life is stressful? 60 people, that is 88% said yes. 9%, that is 6 people said do not agree. Fair enough. And 2 have said that difficult to qualify. Okay, that's good. So 6 people do say that life is not stressful. That's wonderful. Great to know that. Second question was that stress can have a negative impact on sleep, productivity, relationships, your health, etc. And 64 people agreed. That's 94%. 1 did not agree. 3 said not sure. Fair enough. And that if stress were to come down, then happiness would be a much more. 97% said agreed, and 2 said not agree. Fair enough. Okay, great. So welcome to everybody now, and let us dive into this thing of stress. So what I will do is now, we'll be covering today's session in things like what is stress, what are the causes of stress and the stress triggers, and then training the brain how to avoid stress. Because even if we know what is stress, what causes stress, we should be able to train the brain. At the end of the session, at least I'll give you some inputs of what can you do to train the brain so that the stress is not there. Let's say that's it. Now a little bit of statistics about stress. The World Health Organization in 2017 survey that is available on the net, they say that 4 crore people in India, this is India specific statistics, 4 crore people suffer from something called as anxiety disorder. Now, anxiety disorder is a severe form of stress, right? That means you're literally at times unable to figure out what the hell to do, how to handle a situation. Oh my God, help me out. That's a severe stress condition that you're in. And in India, you have 4 crore people who are that. There are another 5.6 crore people who suffer from depression. Now, depression is even extreme form of stress. That means even beyond just severe stress or anxiety disorder, you're landing up in depression. And recently we've heard of many film stars come out with their stories about, right from Deepika Padukone to all the others also who come up. Most recent was the 2-3 of them who had come out with all their struggle with depressions and all those things. So depression is a very common thing apparently nowadays. And in India, there are 5.6 crores recorded. And these are all recorded cases. And probably the double this could be the unrecorded ones. And another 7.8 lakh people, that's again a huge number, died due to suicide in 1 year. Hey, COVID has only killed about what? I think 2 lakh people, not even that. I don't know the exact number today. But suicide, it is 7.8 lakhs people who committed suicide because they're simply absolutely unable to handle the stress that they're in. That means it's a combined 9% of India's population. When you look at this total, that you come to almost 10, 11 crores. I mean, where is COVID? Yeah. Now somebody might throw bricks at me because I agree to say it's serious. But I'm saying, look at the magnitude of stress that we are living under. It is not a small thing. COVID today is the most stressful for many of us. I'm sure some of us have experienced it yourselves. Maybe your close ones, God forbid, somebody from your close family probably has succumbed to it. Very stressful, no doubts about it. But there is another so there are various forms of stress that are out there in the huge thing. Now, what is stress? Very simply, a stress is nothing else but a state of your mental or emotional strain. It's just your mental and emotional status that is there, or it's the tension, the apparent tension that results in our brain from some adverse or a demanding circumstance. This is the dictionary meaning of stress. Very simply, what it means is it's an involuntary physical and a psychological reaction to a stressor. Okay, this is important. That it's an involuntary physical or a psychological reaction to a stressor. A stressor means a trigger. Something happens outside, beyond my whatever in my surroundings. How do I physically or psychologically react to that situation which is around me? And that results in various stress on the body. And we'll see what are they. Again, going to distill it further, stress is a reaction that you give to your expectations. That means the human mind, we are run by various software, so to say. The software is expecting our surroundings to be something which we are getting through the five senses. So input comes through five senses. And these senses, they result in either your expectations which are being met or the expectations not being met. Now, if it's an expectation that is not being met, that can cause a psychological or an emotional trigger, which is not good trigger. If it's an expectation that it is met, then you feel happy, nice. Oh, that's what I wanted. I feel happy, very nice, very good. Yeah, that's how it should be. But if it is not as per what you wanted to happen, you want something to happen, something else has happened, which you didn't expect to happen, didn't want to happen, the brain goes into a flap. The brain says, oh my God, what do I do? What should I do? Is there an answer to this? And that causes various stresses to happen in the body. Now let us understand how this is happening. What is this whole thing happening? So first you said what? There's an external situation. Something happens outside in our environment, close to me, outside, anywhere where it is, right? There is something called as a fight or flight response, which we have that's a prehistoric brain which does all that. That means when mankind started to evolve, when man must have been what, maybe, I don't know, 50,000 years ago, when mankind started to evolve as what we are today. And as it was evolving, the brain started to analyze the whole thing. The two brains started to evolve. You have the conscious brain and the subconscious brain. And the subconscious brain was responsible or is responsible for keeping us alive. In a sense, it is a reactive brain. It is constantly scanning for what is happening around in my environment. And it says either I have to fight this environment or run away from it. Because in those days, probably when we were evolving, we probably either had to hunt for food and therefore we had to kill something that was faster than us, or otherwise that something would kill us. Maybe a tiger or whatever, dinosaur or whatever that must have been in existence in those days, 50,000 years ago, or 20,000 years ago maybe, or even more. So the human being had to respond instantly to such evolving situations. And therefore it is something that's I have to kill to either eat or to ensure I stay alive. My reactions had to be super fast, or ensure I don't get eaten by the tiger. I have to ensure my brain has to work very fast, give instructions to my body very fast, to take action instantly without thinking, oh my God, what should I do? Is this, should I do this, should I do that? Don't have time for all that. So this is called as a fight or flight response. And therefore that fight or flight response becomes your attitude slowly. That means that's an instant reaction to an external stimulus. Something again happens outside. Like I said, that becomes a trigger. How do I instantly respond to that trigger? That becomes my attitude. And that is governed by the subconscious mind. So like I said, there are two minds. One is a conscious mind. One is the subconscious mind. Which is the more active, more fastest, very fast? It's the subconscious mind. How fast? So whenever the brain gets input through the five senses, that's the only way you can input information into the brain. So you can either see something, the information goes to the brain. Either you smell something, again, information goes to the brain, or you taste something, information goes to the brain. You hear something, information comes in the brain, or you touch something, the kinesthetic part of the body, the senses. All these five senses combined send the information to the brain. Now, I'm going to be very simplistic over here, not going to go too much technical terms, but the brain instantly, as the information comes into the mind, into the brain, divides it, I would say, into two parts. One part goes into what is called as your subconscious mind, subconscious brain. And one goes to the conscious brain, what is called as the prefrontal cortex, the new brain. The subconscious brain is also called as the old brain, also called as the prehistoric brain, the limbic brain, the reptilian brain, because that's the old brain. The conscious brain is the new one which has evolved over the last 10, 20,000 years or whatever that time frame is. So it's been constantly evolving, getting bigger and bigger and more powerful. And the conscious brain is something here. It's called as the prefrontal cortex. There are various parts of the brain. There are multiple of them. One of them is the prefrontal cortex, where the conscious brain sort of does all its analysis, or if, but, and, why not, what if, all that stuff. The subconscious brain, on the other hand, takes this information that has come in, does only one job. It says, whatever information I'm getting now, has this sort of a thing happened sometime previously? And it tries to find a match, like a memory match. So it does a memory match, and to get a match for this incidence or something related to that, it takes just 50 milliseconds. That means ek chutki mein. It gets information saying, okay, this information is good, bad, ugly. And the memory associated with this information that is coming in, is it good, bad, ugly? And what did I do then? What is my programmed memory since beginning to say, therefore I can remain alive, or therefore I need this for survival, I need for my thing. It says do that. And this takes how much? 50 milliseconds. So like this. On the other hand, information also has gone to the subconscious brain, the conscious brain, correction. Now, the conscious brain does more analysis of it. What is this? Okay, somebody is unmuted. Can you kindly mute? Can you kindly mute, please? Yeah, Vinita also, if you can mute. Okay, so the information goes to the conscious brain. The conscious brain analyzes if, but, and, why not, what if, is there any other alternatives to this? Can there be different options, etc. All this it does. But to do all this, it takes slightly longer time than the subconscious brain, and that it takes is 250 milliseconds. So the conscious brain is 5 times slower than the subconscious brain. Therefore, the subconscious brain generally will always win. So what does subconscious brain do? It simply took the information went to the brain. It says, okay, this matches, this is bad, this is dangerous, this is not good, should not happen. Take action. And what it does, it instantly releases a lot of chemicals in the body. Instantly releases chemicals without, again, like I said, 50 milliseconds, taka, chemicals released in the body. The conscious brain takes its own time, 250 milliseconds, and says, oh, it's not so bad. Itna bura nahi hai. Acha hai, theek hai. Iska hum hal nikal sakte hai. All that it does. But even before it has had that time to do all this analysis, the subconscious brain has taken the action and gone ahead. And that, let us see now what that is. So before we go again, what I'm going to do now is maybe launch one more poll. Or okay, before we go to the poll, let me just tell you about the experts. Okay, so what you said is, what causes the instant reaction to an external stimulus? Something happens outside, how do I instantly react to it? That leads to stress. What are the causes of stress? One is expectations. So I expect something to happen, that could cause stress. When I'm expecting something to happen, but that is not happening. Somehow there are other obstacles coming in. It is getting going on a tangent. It is going somewhere else. Something else is happening, and it is not meeting my expectation. That can cause stress. There are two other things that also can cause stress, and that is called as limiting beliefs and fears. And these two things, we're not going to touch upon it much today, the limiting beliefs and fears, which we'll talk next week and the week after that. But understand, limiting beliefs and fears are, limiting beliefs are those which are again ingrained in us, saying that I'm useless, I can't amount to anything, I'm no good, I can't do this, it's not my capability, I will not be able to succeed, success is, I don't deserve to be rich. All these are limiting beliefs that somewhere have got ingrained in my brain. Fears could be of anything. Fears could be of a dog, fears can be of a lizard, fear can be of unknowns, fear can be of not having a great family, fear can be of a boss, fear can be of your subordinates, fear can be of your customer, fear can be of your business failing, fear can be of losing your job, fear can be of heights, fear can be of water. There could be hundreds of fears. And all these, that means expectations not getting met, limiting beliefs, fears, all cause the same reaction in the body. There are lots of them. Now, what do we do? What are these things that are the stressors that are there? Typically, if I'm also, there could be many. One of the main things that are there is typically goals. We live in a very competitive world. There are always, especially those of us who are in a job or having a business, we understand that, look, our business has to do better. Therefore, we must have quarterly results, annual results, 6-monthly results. They must be better and better and better. And therefore, those goals and targets are there. If someone's in marketing or any field that you're in, we always get these goals and targets. And that could be a trigger, because sometimes those are insurmountable targets. It's like, oh my God, how will I achieve it? So all the milestones that are to be achieved in a life. So you might have, consciously you can say, okay, मैं ये करने वाला हूँ, मैं ये करने वाली हूँ, I want to do this, I will achieve this in life. So you take a lot of goals. Typically, is I would say our annual goals that you might take even for on the 31st or 1st of the new year. The new year resolutions, they break within a couple of days. Why? Because they lead to stress. Sometimes for some people, family and relationships can be having a stress. Okay. Even for some people, marriage is a bit stressful. Children can be a huge source of stress. And somebody, what? Children stress? Yes. Because the children's demands are so much that sometimes we want to fulfill all of them, but we somehow feel inadequate to fulfill them for various reasons. And that can lead to stress. Health is another major reason. Today's example itself is COVID related. We have COVID around us everywhere. There's not a single occasion where you cannot encounter COVID. Can become very stressful to many, many people, and to all people, I would say. So in professional and also the personal field, there can be lots of reasons why you can be stressed. And for some people, I would say even going on a holiday can be stressful. And I don't, you say, what? Going on a holiday is stressful? Yes. For some people, even planning, where do I want to go for a holiday can be very stressful. And therefore, you go through a whole lot of planning stage where you say, okay, yahan jana, idhar jana hai, then what is the airfare going to be? What is the cost of the hotel going to be? What is the cost of accommodation, food, travel? You do all that. And then you say, okay, there's so many options. Which hotel is a better option? Everybody's saying good, good, good. Somebody's saying bad. And that can lead to stress. For some, it's an enjoyable thing. I love it. I love to go on holiday. Some will say, oh my God, now it's going to be, lock up the house, and will the house be safe? Then you go land up at the place where you go. Then you say, okay, but the hotel is not as per my expectation because the website said something. Here it is something else. That can lead to stress. So that the journey can be stressful. So you have to go to the some people who have to go by flight or by train. Will you reach the railway platform on station on time? Will you reach the airport on time? They say come 3 hours before, you're only 1.5 hours early. Will you get the flight? So many things can go on in your mind, and that can cause stress. And this list could be long. So anytime you go out of your comfort zone, you will be in a stressful situation. You will feel stressed. And we'll see what that happens, how that governs us. So let's have a quick poll about what are your personal stress triggers. So all these are anonymous polls. So even I don't see who's giving the answers. And we only get the numbers. Okay, that is what I show the numbers. So it is totally anonymous. And okay, not this one. Yeah, so this poll is about what are your stress triggers. It's a multiple answers, and these are limited by just simply because of the software limitation. You could have many others. So I'm just launching the poll. Quickly take a few seconds to see. So saying what are your stress triggers?
Select one or more.
Or more, multiple choice. So you have one is getting goals and targets from various things. Is that your stress trigger? If that is that, just tick mark it. Is family or spouse or relationships, is that causing stress? Or is handling change, is that causing stress? Is job or environment, being a boss itself sometimes is very stressful. For some, being a subordinate is very stressful. For some, it could be money matters. For some, it can be people are not listening to me. I mean, I want to tell something, people ko sunta hi nahi meri baat. So that can cause stress. Sometimes you have unfriendly neighbors, unfriendly neighborhood, that can cause stress. Medical, the current court situation. For some, the India-Pakistan cricket match or maybe India-Australia cricket match can be very stressful. Will we win? Will we lose? Last ball, last run, that can cause very stressful. For some, it could be economic uncertainty of the world, stock market, Israel-Palestinian conflict, China. So this can go on. I mean, you can have 100 things what can cause stress. So these are just a indicative. If you can kindly take a few more seconds.
Girish, if there are none, there is no possibility.
Yes, so right now you can just leave it. Leave it. So no
I
worries,
can't
sir.
go to the next one. I can't
fair
go to the
enough.
next one.
Just tick by one, no problem, sir. There's only one question. There's only one question. There's only one question. There's no other question.
Okay.
Ramu, you have to
I thought
answer. Ramu, you have to answer. No excuse.
Okay, last 10 seconds. Okay. Okay, let me end the polling. Fair enough. I'm sure most have answered. Let me share the results.
Handling change, not very
Yeah.
many.
Okay. So have you got the results come there? Let me get, yeah. Sharing poll results. Okay, what are your stress triggers? Goals and targets. So 46% say. So there's a fair mix, I would say. Each one has its own triggers. There is also one person who gets stressed when India and Pakistan are having a match. Fair enough. That can be stressful. Okay, so each one of us has got various stress triggers. Not necessarily that everything has to happen, but they can cause stress. Now, let us see what exactly happens when somebody gets stressed. Okay. Okay, let me now. So what happens is all these triggers that were there, something can happen, and there could be 100 more triggers. Okay, literally 100 more. Like I said, something happens outside. This particular situation has happened. It triggers a chemical reaction in the brain because you are getting this input. Okay, and the brain says, okay, this is not good or this is good. If the brain says good, then there's something called as good hormones. No, the body has got hormones. Okay, so it's a chemical body and an emotional body, and both are interlinked. It's a vice versa thing. So the emotions create chemicals, and the chemicals can create the emotions. Now here is a situation that I'm currently taking a negative situation. There can be positive ones also. I'm using a negative because that causes stress more. Or let's say, okay, let me have the positive ones first. So a positive situation, suppose let's say we have some goals that you have to meet, or a friend of yours, a childhood friend has come to meet you from your school days. Instantly, that is an expectation. I say, yeah, this is guy I want to meet for a long time because WhatsApp brought us together, Facebook brought us together, and now we're actually meeting together. Now we meet and say, and we relive all those good old days of school and college, etc. The brain instantly releases a number of chemicals. There are various hormones. There are 23 of them. Don't have to know all of them. but it releases something called as adrenaline. Now, adrenaline is an action chemical. So you do some action, कुछ करने के लिए आपको adrenaline चाहिए. So you need adrenaline boost, adrenaline rush, it's called as, Then there's a chemical called dopamine that gets released. Dopamine is also called the reward chemical. Then there is a chemical called serotonin. Now, serotonin is called as a happiness chemical. There's a chemical called oxytocin. There's a chemical called endorphin. Endorphin is one which keeps you going. You can crash through your pain barriers because of endorphin, all that. All these chemicals get released instantly. Moment that situation is what you want. Your expectations are met, you say, yay, this is what should happen. And takag, adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphin, not necessarily in that same order, but they get released. And you say, yes, life is great, life is fantastic. Maza aa raha hai, must, fantastic. This is what life should be. Those are good hormones. On the other hand, if it is a negative scenario, which you feel perceive as negative, could be the goal not being met, could be a family problem, could be a children, could be spouse, wife, husband, could be business oriented, could be economic oriented, could be health oriented. There will be many of them. Instantly remember what happens. Input, bad things. The brain does the instant match for something is okay. Fight or flight response. It releases some negative chemicals. One chemical which is releases is called as cortisol. And cortisol is literally called as the public health enemy #1. It is so bad. And another chemical is called as norepinephrine. And these two chemicals literally wreak havoc in our body. And I might have lots of adrenaline, I might have lots of dopamine, serotonin, all already there with me. It's not that they're not there, but this chemical called cortisol and norepinephrine can ruin me. And let us see what it does. So let me now share a slide with you. Okay, let me see if I can show this. Okay. Are you able to see this picture there? Is that visual? Somebody can just respond, please. Are you able to see yeah? Okay.
Yeah,
So we said, yeah, okay, great. So we said, okay, there's great, good. So now we said there is a situation outside. It could be a goal, a target, it could be a holiday destination, it could be a dog. And right now I'm taking a dog in the negative sense, that the dog which you don't want to see because you're afraid of a dog. So all these are the stress triggers that are happening. The goal is that, oh my God, how will I achieve it? Now what it does, instantly, the moment this stress trigger happens, what is the expectation? That I want to achieve this goal. But the unexpected happens. I want to go for this holiday destination, but the flight gets cancelled. I don't want to see this dog, but a dog comes in my way. It could be anything, right? The unexpected has happened. What does the brain do? Instantly, remember it says the fight, flight, or freeze response. The brain got this information, does into the brain, 50 milliseconds, takak. It says, oh my God, this can't be happening, not to me. And it instantly will now release a number of chemicals. The adrenal gland will release adrenaline. At the same time, we said there is cortisol and norepinephrine. These are two dangerous chemicals which instantly get released, and these are carried down to the various organs. And what does this do? Instantly, the cortisol that is pumped into your blood circulation system, it tells the heart saying beat faster. It beats harder, your blood pressure rises, your blood is pumped to the brain and muscles. Why? Because you have to either fight this situation or run away from the situation. For both these, you need heavy blood supply, oxygen supply. The heart literally start racing. So normal, if you are doing at 70, 72 beats per minute, it is instantly go to 170, 180, 100, 200 beats per minute, because it's just pump, heart. The heart beats faster and you can land up into palpitations. The lungs, obviously now we all have been hearing about the oximeter and pulse oximeter and all that stuff. We need the blood saturation levels to be high. Only then can the cells get blood and therefore they're active. The blood they can only get oxygen if the lungs are working. And therefore the lungs go into overdrive. The brain now, this cortisol signals the lungs saying, I want oxygen fast. And you'll end up in doing shallow breathing because you simply, lungs are literally gasping for air and you are desperate for oxygen. All this happens in 50 milliseconds. Remember, takak, just one duchki and all this is happening to you, lungs go start. Now the stomach, whatever enzymes flow for digestion will be stopped. The brain simply It will just stop because it says the brain says, hey, I don't need to digest food just now. I need to run from this situation or fight this situation. Yet digestion baad mein karenge hum. And the brain, to save energy, will stop the digestion system from happening. And that is where the food inside the stomach will instantly start to go bad. It will putrefy, and that results in many, many causes of stomach problems. Acidity, 100% stress related. Why? Because the cortisol has given us a signal saying we don't want this food right now. Right now, we just survive somehow, get through this whole thing. I don't need food just now. I don't need energy just now, which will take 1 hour to come. I want energy now. And where is that energy now going to come from? Through my heart, through my lungs, through my intestines. The bowel movements are stopped. Whatever food is there in my excretory system, in my intestines, will stop being processed by the body, and everywhere there now, and that can result again in multiple problems of the stomach, right from loose motions to diarrhea to stomach cramps to n number of them, all because of this cortisol and norepinephrine. Now the brain says, okay, I need to very focus on these things, on what is happening in front of me. I need my eyes to focus. I can't let them wander around. The pupil dilate to let more in, and the peripheral vision is lost. And that is one of the reasons why that you could land up in getting specs. Okay, because instantly the brain says, shut down all this system. I need to focus on this particular aspect only, forget everything else. The vision can go for a specs. Saliva and mouth, because again, the brain says, I don't need to now swallow anything right now. And you can do this test even now. Okay, let's do it even now. In your mind, as we are just not talking here, I want every one of you to just experience this. Just think, close your mind, close your mind, and just think of something fantastic, something wonderful, something beautiful is happening around you. You are in the midst of it. Just imagine that, and just try to swallow your saliva. Could you do it?
Yes.
I'm sure, yes. Now, at the same space, let's do another experience. Again, close your mind, and this time think negative. Think something bad has happened. Something that should never have happened, should have happened, has happened, unfortunately. Oh my God, what is this has happened? Just be in that state, and now try to swallow. Was it difficult?
No saliva. No saliva.
No saliva. Yes, absolutely. I'm sure all of you experienced this just now. No saliva, no experience. It just atak jata hai. That is how fast the saliva goes bad. I mean, the mouth goes dry. And all this previously in the red has also happened in the same instant, okay? Instant it happens. So saliva, mouth goes dry. Now we said the body needs energy, but does not have the luxury of saying, let me take food now and after 1 hour I'll digest it and then get the energy. The brain says, hey, I need energy now. Where does it come from? Insulin, glucose, it's there in the bloodstream. So therefore the insulin will spike. The islets of Langerhans, from where the insulin is secreted, will literally woof. They will give you a spike of insulin, say, okay, body needs energy, go. There's glucose around in the blood flow streaming, and they say, wait, give it to the cells, and the cells will demand that energy, the sugar. What is the insulin? I'm talking in a layman's term, not in a doctor's language, because I'm not a doctor. The insulin is like a identity card. That's it. So glucose is already there, but the cells are not getting that glucose. The energy is still there in the blood circulating. Now, for the cells to get this energy of glucose, they need insulin. So when insulin spikes, the cells are hungry for the energy, and they take the energy so that you get the energy to take on whatever situation is there. But now imagine if in a day you're getting 30, 40, 100 stressful situations. That means you're going to get insulin should spike only when you're eating food. When you have your breakfast, insulin will go up because you're eating food that needs to be digested. So insulin is required so that you can digest the food. Then you have lunch again. So maybe I'm saying 3 times a day you should spike your insulin. So insulin comes into the blood and you get the food that you want. But imagine if every 15 minutes you're spiking insulin. The islets of Langerhans will go bonkers. They'll say, oh my God, kitni baar isko insulin dilane ka? And literally at one particular stage, the islets of Langerhans will shut down. They stop secreting insulin. The moment they stop secreting insulin because of so much stress around, what happens? The blood sugar level goes up, the glucose in the blood goes up, the blood sugar level goes up because there is no insulin for the sugar to be absorbed by the cells. And then we say, okay, you got diabetes. But to reach this level of the insulin spikes happening because the islets of Langerhans were shut down, because no virus attacked it, no bacteria attacked it. They simply shut down, and the brain shuts it down by literally a signal saying, okay, you shut down. The islets of Langerhans shut down, insulin stops secretion. Now, this will take something like 20 years to happen. That means if you got diabetes at the age of 40, 45, 50, it actually started when you were 20 and 25 years of age. However, we know that if you're in extreme stress also leads to blood sugar spiking up. And doctor will instantly say your insulin is going bad. Right. Okay, that's a stressful situation that somebody is encountering. Yeah, somebody is encountering a stressful situation. Can you mute yourself, please? Who it is? Yeah, thank you. Great. So that you're in a stressful situation. Fair enough. So expectation is you are in a meeting.
Example of stress situation.
Yes. So you're in a meeting, you want to focus and something else happens which should not happen, and it goes. So yeah, let's see if we can handle it. Good. All right. So the next one is the skin. So again, the brain says, I don't need some lovely glowing skin. So what does the brain do? It stops the secretion. There is the blood going through all our extremities. And therefore, they all become pale because the blood is withdrawn. Why? Because the brain says, hey, I need blood now to various parts of my body, to the muscles, to my brain, to handle this terrific situation, which is terrifying situation which has come up. I don't need to have a fantastic glowing skin. So it withdraws the blood from there and I become pale, etc., etc. So again, that is not good. Now, because the blood temperature will rise, body temperature rises, and to cool the body, you will start perspiration and trembling. This is again a result of stress. Muscles become tense. So you'll find a person who's under stress will have extremely tight muscles. Whereas a person who has no stress will have very relaxed muscles. Why? Because the muscles are ready and tensed up to say either fight this situation or run. So they are. Another biggest thing is your immune system gets suppressed. Because again, the brain says, hey, I've got this cortisol release, I've got this norepinephrine release. I'm not right now interested in some virus eating me or virus or bacteria coming in and getting chaos. I'm more interested in fighting this situation outside, which is there, which I think is very impossible to handle. How do I do it? Forget the immune system. Immune system needs energy. Immune system needs a lot of food and energy. All that, everything is waste of energy and time right now. I don't need it. It will suppress your immune system. Now, if this is happening, you can imagine what's happening to our body. You got so many triggers, and there are hundreds of triggers, not one. If these triggers are creating this multiple times in a day in your body, my body is going to get finished. I'll be struggling day in and day out to maintain a healthy body. And always be wondering, kya karna padega? Life is so stressful. It is so difficult. Modern life is stressful. And I can go to a negative frame of mind and becomes a downward spiral. And it can lead to depression, anxiety disorders, etc. And like we said, some most severe is people take their lives also. Now, what can one do? If this is so bad that it's going to impact us, and it is impacting us, it does happen. Okay, let me just, yeah. So if it is so bad, what do I do now? Two things. It's the mind, the body, and the emotions. That's these three things. How do I control it? The mind, the body, and the emotions. Now, some of us may say the mind is not under our control. The body, we can still do something about it. I can do health, kasrat, and do all that stuff, and I can somehow get control. How do I control my mind? Because we said, what is stress again? An instant reaction to an external stimulus. Something happens outside, takak, how do I instantly give it? So it's the mind which is more important here than just mere the body. But they all go hand in hand. So what do we do now? How to be stress-free is the next question. Before we go to this, let me have one more last poll just to get everybody on the same page. Let me just 1 second. I launch the poll. It takes us 30 seconds. There's only one question in that poll. Okay. Okay, I'm plotting the poll. Just one question, and the question is now, in any situation, potentially stressful, whether to get stressed or not to get stressed is a choice. That means your choice. Situation is whatever it can be. Goal, trigger, yay, whoa, 100 things are there. Is it potentially to get stressed or not is a choice. Okay, that means you're conscious saying, okay, I need stress now, मैं stress लेने वाला हूँ. That is the answer is yes. Or you can say, no, I have no choice. Or just stressed हो जाता है. कुत्ता देगा तो stress तो होएगा ही. Or if I see a snake, or if I see a lizard, or if I get some near and dear one, maybe God forbid, passes away, or in medical problems, stress to hoega hi. It is a choice. Where is the choice in this?
For the choice, nobody will get stressed.
Yeah, so the choice is, that means whether to get stressed or not to get stressed is my choice. Now we see if you get stressed, there's severe problem in the body. Therefore, I say, okay, I don't get stressed. जो बाहर होना है होने दो, क्या फर्क पड़ता है मुझे? Is it my choice or is it default program? Okay, I will end the polling now because I think we have. So let me end the polling. Yes, okay, polling is end. Let me share the results. Okay, so the results are 63 people. That is 82% said yes. That means it is a choice. Some of you said it is not a choice. That means it's beyond my control. Let us see. Okay, fair enough. Good. Okay, let me now close the polls.
How to handle stress is your choice.
Yes, your choice. That means your choice, not me. Your choice. Stress is your choice. So the thing was, how do you handle? So I will come to that. So how do you handle? How do you be stress free? Situation is beyond our control. So one is there are 2-3 ways you can handle stress. That means you should not get stressed, should not release cortisol, should not release norepinephrine. On the other hand, you should release dopamine, you should release serotonin, you should release oxytocin, adrenaline, all those chemicals should be released. One is handle or change the situation. So the situation goes away, stress disappears. As simple as that. So that means either change the situation or you handle yourself. Okay. Now handling the situation, let's example of this COVID, let's say, is beyond us. Most of us, I would say that it is very complex. It is global proportions. There are too many other stakeholders involved in it, their permission, their agreement, and there is nothing that I as an individual can really do to change the global perspective, global scenario of COVID. I can do a little bit, yes, no doubt. The Kharisa Vatamanto, but it is also very time consuming. So even if I start something now saying, no, I want to handle this COVID and I'm going to take it out and write to the Prime Minister, write to the Chief Minister and saying, I want to become the task force in charge of handling COVID. And he might say, yeah, good, Girish Konkar, come, you are waiting for you here, all yours. It is still very time consuming. It takes 6 months, 1 year to really handle the situation. And so handling the situation is a pretty complex thing, not easy at all. But if I can live up to the challenge, the COVID goes away after 6 months, you say, yeah, wow, great, no stress now. And this is true for every situation. So if the situation goes away, the stress goes away because now the input coming in is saying, okay, that system has changed. I don't need to send cortisol, norepinephrine. But it's very, very difficult, not easy at every time. What is under our control is either handle yourself, control yourself, or your emotions. So if I can control my emotional reaction to that situation, that means I should be able to control whether I secrete cortisol, norepinephrine, or should I secrete adrenaline and endorphin and dopamine and serotonin, oxytocin. I should control it. And yes, that is under my control. And therefore, if I can control that and secrete when I want, situation can be irrespective of anything. I can choose now to be positive because if I release serotonins, I will be positive. If I release dopamine, I'll be positive. The cortisol will not impact me at all. I control everything now. Now the situation is beyond my control. I have nothing to do with the situation, but I can control what chemicals I should release in my body. How do you do that? We'll come to that in prayer. So one thing that I would like to share with you here is one very powerful statement which is there in the book by Stephen Covey. And this, let me share that with you. Yeah. This is the, it says, life is full of choices. In every situation, you'll find there are lots and lots of choices. And I, that means you personally now, decide which choice to make. So every situation has a choice. The emotional response that you can give is always your choice. Choose wisely, therefore. And this one very simple equation sums it all up, where S plus R is equal to O, where S is the situation. Beyond my control, beyond your control. We have no control over the situation. It happens because the cyclone has come, and therefore whatever has the havoc that the cyclone had to wreak, it has wreaked. Beyond my control. R is the reaction. Okay, not the reaction. I'm using another word here called response. There's a big difference in my reaction and response. Reaction is instant. Response is calculated, considered, after thought about. The response is always my choice. Because based on my response will be O, which is the outcome. Therefore, the outcome to any situation will be under whose control? My control, because the response that I can give for that situation is my control. Situation is beyond my control. I can do nothing about that situation. Very difficult to change. I can do something, but very difficult to change it. And that becomes under my control. So how do you do that? That means reaction versus response. Two things. A reaction is untrained reaction and results in stress. Because we said reaction is fight or flight response. A response, on the other hand, is a trained response. That means situation we can visualize what can a situation be. How do you let my conscious mind take charge and not let the subconscious mind take charge? Or rather, how can I transfer the conscious thinking to the subconscious thinking and subconscious way of being? And that becomes your intuition. They were leaders when they do it, because it's one of the things that trains them is experience. So when you handle something before, your brain is already trained in that particular way of handling it, and you know what is right, what could be wrong. You can take that response in a cool and calm way. So the ability to respond to a situation is a response, and that is always in our control, and nobody can take that away. Reaction is a subconscious thing. Response is the conscious decision-making process. And the conscious mind can transfer the learning to the subconscious mind. That is very powerful. How do you do that? I'll quickly take 5 minutes after this to explain to you how that can be done. How can you ensure that, one second, let me just again. So if a statement is to be sort of formulated for what we just now seen, it is this, that take responsibility for the choices that you make. Take responsibility for the choices that you make, especially when the choice goes wrong. Because choices will go wrong. And that is the time when you say, okay, my fault. And don't start a blame game. Okay, we'll not go into too much details right now in this, but let us see now. So how do you train the brain to give an appropriate response? That means no cortisol, not epinephrine. We must, how do you train the brain to give the required emotions, required chemicals, which cause the emotions of adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and all these things? Because if you control the chemicals, you control the emotions, and vice versa. So both is possible, that you first learn to control the emotions, it will control the chemicals. Okay. Now you learn to do both. What do you do? First is, of course, we say take choices, take responsibility, no blame game. Okay, so don't blame anybody. It's okay, my fault. I did a mistake, my mistake. The moment you take my mistake, tremendous ownership comes here, and the brain calms down. The brain no more is now in a fight or flight mode, because you're taking responsibility. It's okay, I'm in control. I will fight or die in this, but it's under my control. Instantly, the brain, because now will secrete for you adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin, all these are required to take action also, but that's positive action. Second one is, says press the pause button. And I'm sure many of you would experience this. When somebody gets very angry, somebody is throwing tremendous tantrums, he's lost it, he doesn't know how to handle stuff, and he's either galya de raha hai or saying, I don't know what the hell to do, etc. What is the first simplest thing that you tell that person? Yeah, just calm down. Take a deep breath. Now that person sits in one place, you say, okay, have a glass of water. The person sips some water and takes a deep breath. For situation has not changed, but the person takes in water. What is he doing? He is giving the conscious brain the time window to talk to the subconscious brain. And the conscious brain tells the subconscious brain, saying, hey, we can handle this. Don't worry. Isse hal nikalenge. It's going to be very difficult. We're going to get rogered. We're going to get literally, I don't know how we're going to handle it also, but we'll find a way out of this. This talk between the conscious brain and the subconscious brain happens in that few seconds that the person takes to sip water or takes a deep breath. And that gives that person the power to say, okay, kya karna hai abhi? Whereas a few seconds ago, that person was in a flap, he was having a palpitation, he was having breathlessness, he was having, oh my God, kya karu main? I'm sobbing away, whatever it could be there is. Just that 10 seconds window can do that. Third, another very, very powerful mind is what is called as mindfulness or sensory meditation. Now, this is the start point. There are multiple other things which you'll see in this part 3 and part 4. Mindfulness meditation, I found it is very, very useful. It's tremendously useful. And we'll do it right now also. Right? So the conscious mind, therefore, has to now train the subconscious mind to saying, pause, hold on. We will figure a way out of it. The moment you do that, cortisol and norepinephrine is not released. The moment that is not released, the body's stressful reaction stops. And you get control of the whole situation because you're now releasing adrenaline, you're releasing dopamine, serotonin, etc. I'll take a few minutes to explain to you what is this meditation of senses. I call it sensory meditation. If you are okay with it, we can right now, we will do it now. Right, we'll take a few minutes. I know we'll overshoot the time that we are supposed to be in, but it can be a very, we just do so now 1 minute, I'll just explain to you and then we'll do it practically. Typically 1 minute is what is called as a warming up. So you just sit in one place, like I'm here in this, you are in your place, in your home, sit with your back erect. Okay, and this is my back, which I'm showing you. Back should be erect. You could be sitting on a chair, you could be sitting down. You could be standing also, no problems. Okay, so 1 minute, just close your eyes. I'm just explaining, don't do it right now. We'll do it later. Just be aware of your surroundings. Kya ho raha hai? Listen out to various noises that are there. There could be some nice noises, there could be some irritating noises, whatever it is. Let them happen. You are cool and calm. Now, what you do is you get into a 2 minutes of cyclical deep breathing. Okay, the 5 to 7 is the seconds. This is a start point. Okay, therefore it just 5. That means what? For 5 seconds, you breathe in at a very slow and steady pace. So I'll just stop the sharing here and I will like to see. So suppose I'm sitting here. This is called as a Dhyana Mudra, which you can put on your lap. Okay, the lap, back is erect. Close your eyes. And now you're doing deep breathing. So when you're doing deep breathing, this is what you should not do. No. You're doing it very gently. You should not even see. Let's suppose I'm doing deep breathing now. Watch. So I was breathing in gently. I held my breath for 2 seconds. I was breathing out for 7 seconds, very slowly and gently. So there is somebody watching from outside will say, "So gaya kya?" Actually, I'm doing deep breathing. And this is you're doing to a count. Because the mind has to be the main important thing is the mind has to be in the present. What happens is, unfortunately, our mind is constantly going into either the past or to the future. It is very rarely in the present moment. Now, the past, you always either regret it, and the future is a worry. We don't know what will happen. So you are going from a worry, from a regret to a worry, regret to worry, regret to worry, very little in the present moment. And if it is a regret or a worry, what happens? Cortisol release, norepinephrine release, and it's creating havoc in the body. It results in ill health. So I need to be in the present moment. Because present moment is when the mind is absolutely calm and cool. Now it's very difficult to do it in the first beginning stage. Very difficult. Trust me, it is practically impossible for a novice to get the mind to calm down and be in the present moment. It needs a lot of practice. So I'm saying just try it for 2 minutes only. Not more than 2 minutes. Don't do for 10 minutes. It's got no meaning because your mind will keep going left, right, center. Mind to kahin bhatak raha hai. Agar mind bhatak raha hai, to phir kuch fayda nahi hai. So mind, how controlled can you give the mind to be in the present? Now, so one way to train the mind is to count internally in your mind. So when I'm doing this, I'm counting my mind 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm holding the breath for 2 seconds, 1. And then I'm breathing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe in 1, 2. Now, normally you'll find an average person is going to be breathing almost 15 times in a minute. Very, very shallow breathing. If you look at a lung capacity, it's pretty huge. If you open up the lungs, the sacs of the lungs, you will see that it will almost occupy something like a football field. That's so massive. That means the surface area available for us to absorb the oxygen is like a football field area in size. How much do we actually use it? Because we've been using to shallow breathing, just 1D area. That means about 75% of our breathing capacity we are normally not using at all. Because we just never used it, nobody trained us since our childhood. Now we have to train ourselves. How do you do? Therefore, this deep breathing. Now that means when you do 5 to 7, you are breathing about 14 seconds, one breath. That means in 1 minute, 4 times breathing. So you're slowing down your breathing pattern. Mind is focused on your counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. Hold 1, 2, out 1, 2. And that's how your breathing should be. Once that happens, okay, let me just get back here. Okay, are you able? Yeah, are you able to see the screen?
No, Girish Kaka, we can't see.
Okay, now you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 1 minute. So okay, I think it's already 5. So we'll not do the whole thing right now. We'll do it again some time. But I'll explain to you everything. So 2 minutes cyclical deep breathing. Then you do. Now this is a very powerful thing that you will see. Now after you do for 2 minutes of just sitting and breathing in and breathing out, let your breathing go on its own. Okay, let it continue on its own, and then you can do something called as hearing breathing. That means let the breathing on its own. Don't worry about it. Now let's listen to the sounds, and you'll find you can hear the fan whirring. You can hear some car going somewhere, somebody talking somewhere, somebody in the kitchen somewhere, some birds maybe chirping around. There can be many sounds which we never had the time to listen to. Again, for 2 minutes, you listen to those sounds. And that's sometimes then you can also play around with it. Because you can only listen to the left side sounds. Sometimes you say, okay, now let me listen to right side sounds. Now left and right. You can play around with your entire the gallery that is there in front of you. And especially when you do it at places like Siaghad or when you go trekking and all that stuff, when you do it over there, trust me, it is amazing what you can know. And then a very powerful thing is called as gratitude meditation. So after having done this 2 minutes of cyclical deep breathing, 2 minutes of sound and hearing the thing, there are other things. One is there's sensory meditation, there is taste meditation, there is sight meditation. So we'll not go into that right now, but finish with this gratitude meditation. In gratitude meditation, you do simply one thing. Whoever has come in contact with, or in contact meaning met somebody, or even on the phone also, you simply say thank you to that person. That's it. The meeting or the conversation could have been good, bad, ugly, makes no difference. Just say thank you to that person. And the moment you say thank you, trust me, amazing amount of chemicals, stress release chemicals get into the body and says, wow, life is good. And if you do this just before going to sleep, that means you're in your bed, lying around, say your last prayer to the God to say, okay, thank you very much for giving me such a wonderful body, mind, and strength, etc. And then say, okay, whoever, just run through the day, whoever has come in touch with you in that day, like I said, contact with you either through email also, if you want to, right? Just say thank you. No interpretation of good, bad, and ugly. Trust me, you get a fantastic sleep. Now, this can slowly increase. Like I said, it is important that 2 minutes you can be in that state. It is no point in doing it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So first do a cycle. You have various options. You can do a breathing cycle of 5 to 7, then slowly increase it to 6 to 8 as your lung capacity builds up. You can go up to 15 to 17. That means you're almost doing 32 seconds, one breath. That means in 1 minute, only 2 breaths. And you'll find you get amazing amount of oxygen going into your body. Your body is fully charged up. All your 100 trillion cells are all saying, Gango, yay, life is great. And you are able to focus your mind on the present. That is very crucial. If you can focus your mind on the present and secrete adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, you got tremendous amount of power to handle any situation that you can come across. And situations will keep coming. Every day morning, kuch naya bakela ho jata hai. You have no clue where does this come from. But you can say, okay, what next? Okay, that's what's going to be your reaction to it. So this last slide, a holistic approach to avoiding stress. Okay, this is now trying to combine everything. There are many things you can do. And I'm sure you're already doing many of it. So this could be not new for many people. One is a physical, mental, and emotional fitness. So we have to maintain ourselves physically, mentally, and emotionally. How do you do that? Simple, by exercise. So we must have flexibility. 3 things: flexibility, stamina, and strength. The body has to have all 3. How do you get all 3? Typically from yoga gives you flexibility. Typically sports gives you stamina. And a gym sort of a thing gives you strength. Okay, all 3 are required. So you cannot, I'm being a little bit sarcastic over here, so please bear with me. If you only do yoga for the flexibility part of your body, you are not really doing strengths, because unless you're doing push-ups also every day, unless you're doing 50 push-ups, you're not building strengths in your muscles. They're very toned muscles. Yes, I can do this, I can do that. Yeah, all this. Excellent. No doubts about it. But will you have the stamina to run, to cycle, to swim, to climb mountains? You will climb staircases also. May not have the same. So you need to do everything. You cannot do everything together in one day. So you have to mix and match. How best one can do it? You take it. Pranayam is another fantastic exercise. One of the best. And in fact, they've been propagating against for COVID also, saying COVID, a very good thing. I mean, this is there in the net. Ramdev Baba has made it very famous everywhere. Basrika, Kapalbhati, Anulom Vilom. So I will not go into too much of it, but it's, you can just go YouTube it as the amazing benefits that all these things have got. Hobbies play a very, very crucial part. Hobbies like music, singing, it could be any active hobby. I do not consider reading book and watching television as a hobby. Reading book is good, very good. But in the hobby category, mein thoda activity chahiye. Somewhere the body also does something. You know? So music is fantastic. You know, you can sway to music and all that stuff. And music therapy is there. And so I not go into the details of it, but there could be many other hobbies. There are hundreds of hobbies which you can do. Meditation. This I would recommend to do it every single day, non-negotiable, because it gives you tremendous, the body can now, the mind can now focus on that one stop, which is now. It is not into the past, not into the future. You get tremendous power. And the body, the best part is the body learns it. And once the body learns it, the body learns to remain in that state, and that gives you tremendous power. The body, despite bahar kuch bhi hone do, aag lag jaye do, you say, okay, how do I handle this fire? Rather than saying, oh my God, fire, 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 what do you do? Run, bhago, bhago. You will say, okay, what do you do? Is there water? Is there this? Is there that? Is there this? Is there? You can take charge of the situation rather than be a victim of the situation. That's what's the power of meditation. Train the breathe, to breathe deeply, and that gives you the learn to art of focus. Again, gratitude meditation. Sleep, very important. Regular sleep of 8 hours recommended. Diet, preferably vegetarian, low sugar diet, lots of nutrients. Avoid alcohol, drugs, smoking, tobacco, fatty foods, avoid excess caffeine. All these are negative. They'll release you, get you to release cortisol, norepinephrine, all this stuff. So not really very, very, very important, right? And then the last one is me time. Very important to have me time. Do nothing, chill, be a couch potato. Kuch mat karo, ek 15 minute ke liye. Kya kar raha hai, kuch nahi kar raha, bas soya ho. Very important. Yeah, that's very, very important. Or even half an hour also, if you can have the luxury of time, take half an hour of me time. Kuch nahi kar raha, soya padao. Watching the sky, watching the stars, watching the sunset, watching this, watching that. We must have me time in a day without the mobile. Mobile should be switched off and thrown in a dustbin if required for that 30 minutes. I don't know if you can recover it after that, but mobile should not be there. So WhatsApp, ting, 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 ting. If you guys, anyone of you have got notification on your WhatsApp and your messages, my sincere recommendation to you is switch it off. That's the biggest stress causer is that. Okay, so with that, I think I will come to the end of this thing. And this last slide is there. A peaceful mind can think better and a worked up mind. Allow a few moments of silence to your mind every day and see how sharply it helps you to set your life the way you expect it to be. It is, thank you very, very much. It's been a wonderful time. Take life seriously, but don't be serious in life. Okay, so take serious life seriously. When the mind wanders, it is time traveling back and forth, back and forth. It's constantly going on that, right? So this is one. We are all happy people. We happy people take the goals, and then there is long-term targets, and in the middle you have question marks, and that leads to a lot of stressful situations. Beliefs and fears start coming in. That leads to stress. Why? Why you should let stress kill us? The stress is one of the biggest killers. So if there are any questions, definitely I would gladly take them on. And just next Saturday again, we're going to have the next part of it is fears and negative beliefs and fears. Limiting beliefs again are a major killer. Fears are a major killer. You cannot handle them by these things. They need a different setup altogether. But if there are any questions now, please shoot. Yeah, any questions? Anybody?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
That,
Okay, now there are 85 participants, so I really don't know who's going to be saying that. So I think either it's first come first, or you can raise your hand in the chat box. I will then ask that person, because there is a reaction over here where you can, I think, yeah, Kulbirji has raised his hand there. Kulbirji is now an expert in raising hands. So yes, sir, Kulbirji.
Well, I have to follow my duty.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, the question is about the stimulus response equation which you showed. Now it is the old debate about the free choice. The choice to get to the water to drink. Is that a free choice, or is it also dependent on some other hormones?
Once again, please. You said whether the water ka kya hai? Once again,
Stimulus.
sir.
When you are in a tense situation, go for a glass of water. The very choice to go for a glass of water is a choice.
Correct.
So you have to have the brain condition, your subconscious mind and the conscious mind in such a balance that you are able to make that choice to get to the glass of water. So is that a free choice, or is it also a part of the environmental, what you call garbage, which you have collected your subconscious and conscious mind?
See, the environmental garbage is restricting you from exercising your free choice. Because environmental garbage is your default program which has happened over a period of years in the subconscious mind. Therefore, it gives you instructions saying do this, 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 this. You always have a choice to override that and say, okay, I want water now, I don't want water now. There is no right or wrong choice. It's a choice. You can choose, I don't want to have water now. It's always a choice.
Thank you.
Every choice has a consequence. Every choice has a consequence. There are desirable consequences, there are undesirable consequences, and the brain quickly does a scan and says, okay, ye karna hai. And we take probably the lesser of the options, lesser of the two evils, says, okay, let me do this. But every choice has a consequence. Good, bad, ugly, we really don't know. We'll come to know after 6 months. Yeah, wo jo choice liya, that was not correct choice. That's life. But it's always a choice.
I have
Thank
a
you.
question.
Yes. Yeah, Vineet, the next one is Prakash. Prakash ji. Yeah, there is a raise your hand in the chat box, so I can then I get that. That comes as a numerical order, so I know whom to ask. Yes, sir. Prakash ji.
Girish, thanks for a most informative and educative lecture. Just a small question on the mindful meditation technique. The two last methods, that is the sound meditation and the gratitude meditation, are these also to be done in the 5 to 7 cycle?
No, the 5 to 7 is a breathing cycle. So the breathing now, once you get, it will take maybe a month or 2 months to really get that breathing cycle in autonomous mode. That means without thinking about it. Right now, what happening? You're thinking, okay, I'm breathing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop breathing. Breathe out 1, 2, 3. So you're consciously controlling the breath. After some time, the body gets used to it. It goes on its own. So the breathing happens on its own, whatever that thing is happening, right? And now you only don't worry about it. You only worry about the sound that you're hearing around you, and you keep a smile on your face, back erect, and you say, okay, lovely sound. I can hear this. I can hear this. I can hear 5 parrots. I can hear somebody screaming. I can hear somebody singing. There can be many, many things happening around you, and enjoy it. Thank you. Yes, Akshay. Yes, Akshay, please go ahead. You're mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. I just want to know the difference between choice and perceive. How do you perceive and how do you choice? What is the difference between two?
I would say everything is a perception. Your interpretation of what you are seeing is your perception. Now, given that perception, you have to make your choices.
Okay. So first comes the perceivedness, then comes the choice.
Yeah. So now the perception, you can also choose to say, is my perception correct, or is it another interpretation? Depending on the situation, if the situation does not require an instant response right now, abhi kuch karna hai, you can say, okay, let me see, I may be wrong. I think this is the right answer. Is it? So you might ask somebody else. You might ask your friend, your parents, your son, your daughter, your wife, somebody else. Yaar, ye mujhe aisa lagta hai. Is this correct? That person might give you some other perspective. Again, we don't know which is right or wrong.
So therefore, to take a choice, we need to perceive the things in a right way. First of all,
there is no right or wrong way. There is just a perception. Whether right or wrong, time will tell you after 6 months. Yaar, wo galat purchase mein liya tha. Wo galat tha mera. And when you say galat, then you put your hand up saying, yaar, galti meri thi. Not my parents, or not my bosses, not my clients, not my customers, not my this thing. Meri galti thi. Mera perception galat tha. And we can go wrong. Yeah, we go wrong many times. But every time I cannot say, oh my God, I went wrong. Main galti kya maine? Mere se galti ho gaya. Ab main kya karu? You are finished then, yeah. Then your cortisol will take over. And you'll never have peace of mind. So you have to say, okay, yaar, galti ho gaya. Commit mistakes, learn from the mistakes. Yes. Committing a mistake is fine. Repeating a mistake is a crime.
Yes.
Galtiyan hum roz karte hain. Every day we commit mistakes. I commit mistakes even now. And all of us, I'm sure, commit mistakes.
And
first,
learning out of that is important.
Yes. And we must have the humility to say, yaar, maine galti kar diya. ये मुझसे गलती हो गई. सीखना चाहिए और सीखो. You will, over a period of time, you do lesser mistakes. As youngsters, we did बहुत हरामी बंदे सबने की है. Wrong word, but किए हमने यार. अपने तरफ से हमने, we were all boisterous youngsters in our own rights. We don't do that today because we learned over a period of years, and hopefully we are good people now.
And in a nutshell, that's life.
That's life. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Sunil Bhagwat. Hi, Sunil.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
How's UDCT?
My question is that some people, is it likely that some people work better by getting worked up and some people work better by getting relaxed? Or is it universal?
Both will work, but you decide which one you want. If you get worked up and do, you are having a negative toll on your body. Results of the end result might come in both ways. In one method, you are going to be severely destroying your body. Okay. In the other method, also will give you results, but you say, "Sala maza aaya. Life is fun. Let's do it again." It's difficult, but we can do it. Maza aata hai. You can do all that. So both are, you'll get the result same way. But I think in one, you are destroying your body because saying, "Na, karna padega." You shout, scream, and your team says, "Yaar, my boss is so idiot. वो करना पड़ता है, बोलना पड़ता है, करना पड़ता है. He screams at us. He does this. He does that. I have to somehow do it." You will do the job. Job होएगा ही, but your environment will be toxic. On the other hand, the same situation, somebody will say, "Yeah, boss, karna padega. Let's do it." And he does all his motivation business, whatever he has to do. Yes, he'll achieve. Will the result come 100% all the time? No guarantees. the probability that the person who's got that motivational spirit to get people along gets a better result every time is far higher than a person who's always screaming and shouting and traveling. Then he'll have more attrition rates, he'll have more stress situations, he'll have more negative medical problems, people absenteeism, all that could be much more in this other second guy. And he'll have his own hair tearing apart and medical problems of his. So that's I hope that answers your question.
We get to see a lot of exam stress in students. There are some who are so relaxed that they will be whistling and singing before an examination, and some others who will get stressed by looking at them.
Yes.
They want to be in that mode that I am preparing something till last minute.
Yeah, correct. Like I remember my mother, when I was doing my 10th standard exam, she told me, in fact, these are her words. I was in my 10th standard, doing my 10th standard. I was generally a good student, not in the toppers, nor in the bottom. Generally, what you say is a decent student. Tension nahi tha ki pass hoega nahi. Tension tha ki pehla, dusra, tisra, kahin na kahin top 10 mein aa jayega. So utna bas tha. So she would say, now go for a movie today. And in those days, tomorrow is the exam. And she said, और पढ़ के कितना पढ़ेगा तू? जितना दिमाग गया उतना गया है. You go for a movie, enjoy it today. Don't worry, you'll get good marks. And I learned that. So she would send me either for a movie or that time I was going to Siagat in my 10th. So she would go Siagat जाऊँगी. And I literally would take my cycle and we would go to Siagat, come back and give the exam. और marks उतने ही मिलने थे. जो 70 तक के आना था वो 70 ही मिलने थे. कभी मेरे को 90% मिला नहीं, कभी मेरे को 60% मिला नहीं, वो 70 के 17 मिले, but I had a grand time. Thank you. Yes. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anyone? Good. Gurinder, hi. GJ.
Hello.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
Hi, Girish. Thanks for a wonderful session. I just wanted to add another point regarding de-stressing. Recently, only post-COVID, we were here in AWHO Sandeep Vihar. So someone abandoned 2 lovebirds. So I brought them home. The next day, got a cage and then started learning. Even a small little pet, they are not very big. They are very small. The small little thing, they are so good stress busters. I suggest that this kind of a thing also should be part of part of the
definitely. Like it is known that even keeping goldfish at home is a very good stress buster, or having a pet, any pet in fact, dogs, cats, they always they are.
I think what you had said about the peripheral vision problem, once these things are moving, our body generally looks at them and says it's all okay.
Correct.
Second point I wanted to tell about is that I have experienced myself. This January, both of us were in bad shape physically also, and then we decided, like last September, then we decided nothing. Me and my wife, let us start walking 10,000 steps a day.
Right.
So we put 2 Fitbits on our this thing, and we had only one target of 1 kg reduce 1 kg. When we get that, we get to the next one. So that way, by the time we finished 3 months or 4 months, we both were down 7-8 kilos. That itself was a big stress buster.